Welcome to the first edition of The Studio, brought to you by Gravesham Borough Council. Imagine a penthouse with commanding views over Gravesend, and that's what we did, and this is The Studio. And we hope to bring you a monthly news magazine with information and entertainment from all over the borough. So, coming up on The Studio, our top story is what happens next following the decision by the Regulatory Board on the Heritage Quarter regeneration scheme. Later we'll look at the £5 million injection of cash to improve recycling rates in Gravesham. And Kent's Police Commissioner Anne Barnes visited Gravesend to look at our G-Safe scheme. As the first citizen ends her year of office, the Mayor will be here to look back on a unique 12 months which featured a Diamond Jubilee and the Olympic torch. We'll be finding out what these people are talking about.
Yeah, I'd like to say it's a very highly impressive exhibition, and I think it's unique.
It's a very impressive exhibition, and I really think that anyone who has an interest in photography or the stage should really come and visit it. It's well worth a visit, and it's free.
In terms of the actual gallery as well, not just this exhibition, but we have been to quite a few other things here, I think it's a very good space.
And as the Woodville Theatre celebrates 45 years, we'll be taking a look at the special offers on the way. But first, this was the scene in the Council Chamber on Tuesday when members took their historic decision on the Heritage Quarter.
Right, that leaves me with the casting vote. I didn't speak tonight because I was chairing this meeting. I've worked very hard on this application. I think we've achieved a lot of change in this application, and although I find the Western Quarter not 100% to my liking,
don't sell our town, Sean.
Does anybody else want to leave, please, before I speak? And although I do not find the Western Quarter to my liking, I would have liked some of it stepped back a bit more and giving more light and access to Melbourne Quay, etc. along that route in West Street. I have to say that I support the application. I think some of the arguments that were made here tonight, particularly the future of young people and their employment prospects, etc. I have worked with young people all my life, so therefore I would actually support the application. Thank you. So can I say then that it's 4-4, it's 3 against, and it's 3 abstaining.
The Council is stepping up its recycling this year with an injection of £5 million of government money to help buy new vehicles and new equipment, which will be coming on stream soon. The scheme started this year with a doubling of clear sacks for every household. So here's some things you can put in those clear sacks.
So, what can go in your recycle bags? Basically, it's anything that's paper, aluminium or plastic. So that's your newspapers, envelopes, pamphlets, cardboard and catalogues, and of course your junk mail. With your aluminium, we can put metal food trays, soft drinks cans, empty aerosol cans, obviously make sure they're empty first, and your plastic milk bottles, shampoo bottles and your detergent, etc. Now your black bags, they're for the rubbish that can't be recycled. So that's your food waste, nappies, animal or pet waste and anything else that you think that can't go in the recycle bags.
With me in the studio is Nick Brown, who's Director of Finance and Environment at the Council. Nick, this £5 million grant was something of a coup for the Council. How are we going to spend it?
Well, initially we're going to be spending the money on sending out additional clear sacks for people to increase their recycling levels. One of the things that people have said to us is that they would like to recycle more, but unfortunately they're running out of clear sacks. So when you get your quarterly bundle of sacks, you will now have twice as many and hopefully sufficient to recycle as much as you would like.
And the next step is food caddies, isn't it? Kitchen caddies.
That's correct. We're using the funding to introduce a food waste collection service. This is something that a number of authorities across the country have done, and typically they're showing that they'll be increasing their recycling rates between about 8 and 10%. That will have a great impact for us. What it means for people at home is that for the first time you'll be able to recycle your food waste. You'll have a kitchen caddy whereby you can put your food waste into that, and it will be collected weekly by our refuse operatives. And as we say, it will make a big impact on our recycling levels.
Because until now, if you want to do anything with your kitchen waste, it's compost or it's black sacks, so this is a big improvement.
Absolutely. Currently it goes to residual waste, and that is something that we want to avoid as far as is possible.
Right. So how are we doing in Gravesham about recycling? What do the figures look like?
Well, it's probably worthwhile going back in time. When we first introduced the clear bag system, it was a relatively new initiative and we were fairly successful. Over time, other authorities across the country have introduced new initiatives, different ways of collecting recyclates, and what we found is that we are now collecting around about 25% of recyclates within the borough. Nationally, that figure is looking more like about 45%, so clearly we've got some work to do there. One of the things that we want to do is to ensure that the new initiatives that we're bringing forward, i.e. the new clear sacks, the food waste opportunity for people to use that.
Food caddies, kitchen caddies.
Kitchen
yes.
caddies, etc. And then on top of that, the introduction of a wheel bin service, which will enable people to recycle more than they can currently through the bag system, because we'll be able to expand the number of different materials that people can put in there, and quite simply the vessel is larger and they can get more recyclables in there.
That will encourage them to do it. So there's a lot more work to be done. This is being rolled out over the next 2 to 3 years, isn't it? And people haven't got any worries that they're suddenly going to find they've got to put stuff in a wheelie bin they know nothing about. This is going to be carefully worked out.
Absolutely. It's a major project for the council. There are a number of options in terms of the way that we're going to deliver this service that we need to work through for a combination of reasons. One, to look at efficiency, one, to look at what actually suits the borough. For example, certain vehicles which perhaps we would like to use are going to be unsuitable for the narrow streets that we have, and we obviously need to take those kind of things into consideration. We also want to hear back from the community about the nature of the service that they would like to see. And part of our marketing and promotional campaign will keep people properly informed, so they hear critical points in the process, what they need to know in order to enable them to fulfil their part in helping us recycle more.
Well, thanks very much, Nick. It seems to me that this is not going to be the last time we're speaking about recycling. In fact, we need to keep people updated every month.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Nick. Crime doesn't exactly stalk these mean streets, but the fear of crime very often does. One way to allay those fears is to see what we do behind the scenes with organisations like GSafe, which is a collection of almost 100 retailers and licensees, together with the council and the police, working to ensure that Gravesend is safe from pickpockets, shoplifters and other miscreants. Every morning, these people meet with the police together in the town centre to discuss the day ahead. And today, they had a very special guest in Anne Barnes, who is Kent's new Police and Crime Commissioner. I asked Anne what she thought of GSafe.
I think it's absolutely fantastic. I've just been saying to some of the people who are running it that, you know, every town should have this, because if you publicise the fact that, you know, Gravesend is a really, really safe place to be, people will come, the economy will grow, people will come and socialise, they'll shop. I think it's really brilliant.
How do you see your role in this aspect of crime prevention?
Well, I think crime prevention is absolutely vital. We need our town centres to be vibrant, don't we? We need people to go in there and to really have a good time there. And this is pure partnership working. You know, it's the police and it's the local shopkeepers and it's the council. It's everybody working together to prevent crime and to make sure that our streets are safe.
Do you think the fear of crime is actually worse than crime itself?
I do think the fear of crime is worse than crime itself. Crime in Gravesend, you know, is falling. And it's falling everywhere in the country, but everybody still feels really frightened. But, you know, by publicising this, you're actually telling people, come here, you know, you are as safe as can be here. So come along and help our economy and have a good time as well.
Anne Barnes, thank you very much.
It's a pleasure. Bye-bye.
Introduced more incorrectly than anybody else in the borough for almost a year now. She's been called the Lady Mayoress, she's been called the Honourable Lady Mayoress, and everything in between. She is in fact, Her Worship, the Mayor of Gravesham, Councillor Mrs Lynn Milner. Then, Madam Mayor, how's your year been?
Thank you, Graham. It's been an absolutely fantastic year, very exciting and very, very busy.
Well, it started with the Royal Jubilee, didn't it?
It did, yes, and what a year to be the Mayor with the Queen's Diamond Jubilee celebrations.
And there was a massive children's party on Community Square. You must have enjoyed that. I saw you bopping, as did the world. You were on television doing that.
Yes, I certainly was. I haven't seen the television script because I cannot receive it. But it was lovely to see the children and the adults on that day thoroughly enjoying themselves. And yes, I did enjoy myself having a dance because it is important that the children was there on the actual day. It's a day to remember.
Well, it certainly was, and a weekend to remember for you because you paid surprise visits to very many street parties up and down the borough, and you looked as if you were enjoying yourself.
I certainly did. Yes, I am told within 7 days through the Jubilee week of celebrations, I visited 30 occasions, which were street parties and visiting the elderly in their sheltered accommodation and had taken tea with them. And it was very, very nice to see everybody enjoying themselves.
And you also got to shave the legs of a man dressed as Her Majesty the Queen. That must have been quite novel and unexpected.
Yes, it was unexpected, but they were collecting money for the Eleanor Lyons Hospice, and I just made sure that he did scream a little louder, so they put more money in the collecting pot, which they did.
And the Lyons Hospice is one of your charities this year, the other one being the Alzheimer's Research Charity, Dementia Charity, that's correct, isn't it?
Yes.
How much have you raised so far this year?
At the moment, with all the fundraising we've been doing, we've raised about £6,000.
And that's before the accounts are done for the Mayor's Ball, which was last week.
Yes, it certainly was, and I know that everybody enjoyed themselves on the evening, so we won't know until the end of my term of how much exactly we did raise.
It's always considerably more than the end of year estimate even. Madam Mayor, how many events have you attended in this busy of busy years?
I have been told that it's around coming up to 400 engagements.
What do you think the highlights were? Would it be the Olympic torch?
It's very difficult to say the highlights because every engagement that I've had has been important and very enjoyable. But of course it has been the year to be the Mayor of the borough because of the Queen's Diamond Jubilee and the Olympic torch coming through. And at the very early stages in my year, I was approached in the town and I was called the People's Mayor, which I was very, very proud for that person to say that I was the People's Mayor of the borough.
Madam Mayor, it's been a lovely year and thank you very much for reminiscing about it.
Thank you very much.
So I'm here in the Blake Gallery downstairs in the Woodville at a fascinating photographic exhibition that's just been set up. It was at the Victoria and Albert Museum in London. It's now here in Gravesend, and I'm here with Simon Annand, the man behind it all. Hello, Simon.
Hello, yes.
So this exhibition is called The Half. Why is it called The Half? What is The Half?
The half is an expression used in the theatre that all actors know, and it refers actually to 35 minutes where the actor prepares before they go on stage. They have to be in the building once the half has begun, and all members of the public have to have left the building so that the focus and concentration can take place.
I see. Now, I would imagine that this is a very private moment for the actors, a very, a very unique moment to them.
It's an intimate moment because theatre is a handmade piece of work, so it has to be recreated each evening. And sometimes whatever they've been doing during the day, whether they've been filming or just being themselves, they have to prepare to get into the fictional character. and there's no escape. There's no, you can't bluff it at all. You have to go out there and do it again in front of another 1,000 strangers, and that is interesting, I think.
And so, how were you allowed to get access to these very private and important moments?
I had the idea in 1982 when I was watching Griff Rhys-Jones doing Charlie's Aunt. Do you know that play?
I don't actually know.
He plays the lead character, who's very exuberant. And I was watching Griff on stage for a couple of years because I was working in the theatre there, and I asked him to see him in the dressing room, and his mood was quite different. It was quite melancholic and restrained, and I thought that would make an interesting project.
Did that reflect the character that he was portraying?
The mood in the dressing room was quite the opposite of what he had to go out there and do.
Wow, so that demonstrates that there is... it's a very interesting process. It does not directly necessarily represent the character, but it's
no, quite often. Sometimes when the tone of the play is quite tragic, you'll get more people larking about in the dressing room, that kind of thing. But it does fascinate me, and has done for 30 years, and what we see here is 25 years of that. And I've been working on the second book for the last 5 years.
Well, that's a rather long time.
It's quite a long time, yeah. It's when I had enough energy left after my day job, which is taking pictures in the theatre, on the stage itself, at the National Theatre and the RSC and the Royal Court and so on.
So you're obviously very used to taking photographs of these actors. How do you make sure that you don't influence that process that they're going through? How do you just make sure that you're just taking taking directly what they're doing?
Photographers work in different ways. My preferred choice of working in this context is to be as open as possible. So it's not my studio to go in there and say, I've got this idea, I think we should do this, and so on. Each one of these actors I've chosen myself, therefore I know that they're interesting to me, and whatever they're going to do is photogenic for me. So I may use my will to get me into to get me to the door of the room to get the session set up. But once the door opens, it's my intuition that comes into play, and I just take it as it's like a jazz riff. You really have to take it as you find it, and each one is completely different, whether you get 2 minutes, which is the least I've ever had, and 2 hours, and you fit into the rhythm of what they're doing for that day.
Wow. We happen to be standing just by this particular picture of Sir Ian McKellen and Patrick Stewart. Yeah. I was lucky enough to see this play.
Right.
Do you recall the particular stories for this one?
This is a room that is quite well known. It's the number 10 dressing room at the Theatre Royal Haymarket, which was used by John Gielgud in the war as a flat. It's one of the best, only because it's one of the bigger ones. And to the left, you've got a mirror, which is shown in another photograph of Judi Dench over there, that all the great actors of their generation have looked into over 250 years.
Wow.
And that makes it quite special. And this picture also amuses me because, as you know, Waiting for Godot, the two characters can't leave, and they're about to leave this room through that door on the right, which is kind of ironic, if you know what I mean.
I see, yeah.
But these two great actors, big franchise film actors, so that any kid coming into this room who watches X-Men or all the films they've been in would probably faint with the fact that these two men were together. But they shared a room, and they just about got through the tour still speaking to each other, I think. I mean, because they're quite dynamic, they're quite
I see. I also believe there's a book which accompanies the exhibition. How's that going?
There is, yes. That came out in 2008. There are over 350 photographs in this book, showing the different aspects of what the actor does in that half an hour. Wow. And finally, we're here in Gravesend. What
What made you decide to come to Gravesend? It's a great honour.
This exhibition has been to London, Paris, New York, and many other places in the UK, and the V&A have only gone to the best places.
Wow, absolutely. It's the natural choice.
So this is the most recent. It's always interesting to see the different way it is hung in each place according to the context of you know. So in New York they chose American actors, and in Paris they chose actors that the French knew. And here, this is completely the personal choice of Neil, who's curated it.
And are you happy with the choice?
Oh, very happy, yes.
Wonderful. Well, thank you very much, Simon. And with that, back to the studio.
It's a very impressive exhibition, and I really think that anyone who has an interest in photography or the stage should really come and visit it. It's well worth a visit, and it's free.
Yeah, I'd like to say it's a very highly impressive exhibition, and I think it's unique in the sense of the characters and through the different stages of their careers, if you like, portrays them. Yeah, I'd encourage anybody that's interested in certainly the theatre and also photography at any sort of level, you know, and you certainly learn something about how it should be done, you know, to my mind, you know. Thank you. All right.
What I find very effective is the black and white photography, which seems to be coming back in vogue at the moment. Very effective.
In terms of the actual gallery as well, not just this exhibition, but we have been to quite a few other things here, I think it's a very good space. I like the shape of it, and I think it's very good for a whole variety of things, not just photographs.
This year marks the 45th anniversary of the Woodville Theatre, and its manager now, who's no longer the new manager, is Neil Chandler. Has been with us for a year and is with us today on our first broadcast. So what have you got planned for 45th anniversary celebrations?
45 years. It's taken me a long time to plan, because obviously I wasn't about in that time. But
you weren't alive for most.
I was not for most of that time, but thankfully, you know, others were, and you've helped me a great deal to plan the festivities we've got planned. If you think in 1968, which was when the Woodville the curtain first rose, or parted as they do at the Woodville, the cost of a cinema ticket in today's money was about 25 pence. So we're bringing back those prices for a limited time for some 1968 movies.
Wow.
Plus, if you come to an 11 o'clock screening, you're going to get a toasted tea cake and a cup of tea or coffee. Very 1968.
Extraordinary.
And we've also got, if you happen to be 45 years old, in June of this year, and you live in Gravesham, and you come to our box office and prove that fact, which has to be a passport, I guess, or a driving licence, we will give you 4 tickets to see any show of your choice every month for the next 12 months.
As a kind of penance.
Exactly right, to punish you for being 45 and being part of the Woodville family. We've got Jane McDonald, the wonderful Jane McDonald.
You have some magnificent acts.
She's not 45.
No.
But she's got 45 fantastic hits.
Not yet, anyway.
No, not yet. No, she's a long way off, I think.
And we have a clip of Jane's show. Shall we look at that now?
Absolutely, let's take a look. It's a great show.
When there's someone else who cares, when there's someone home who's waiting just for me. Even now I think about you as I'm climbing up the stairs, and I wonder what to do so he won't see.
Well, so Jane McDonald, of course, from Loose Women.
Among other things, yes.
Not something we watch because we're at work, but
indeed.
I understand there's not so much loose women as tight women, but anyway, she's here on stage live with
hopefully
a mass
live,
packed audience. Yes?
Yeah, it's a great show. I've seen Jane's live show a fair few times, which is why I'm really excited to bring it to Woodville, because it's such a powerful show. If you like power ballads, if you like real strong hits, then this is a great show. A fantastic band on stage, great backing singers, lots of audience banter. It's a show that has people up dancing in the aisles, a real feel-good party night.
Well, because she made her name on the cruise, on the ship about a cruise liner, and she was a singer on a liner. And in fact, this building, you may not know that, is is modelled on a liner.
Absolutely.
That's the shape of the bridge at the front.
Titanic, was it?
Not the Titanic,
No.
not thus far. We've been going for nearly 45 years ourselves. Okay, well, what else have you got in this great year?
We've got some fantastic musical acts. You know, celebrating 50 years, I think it is Shawaddy. Got to get this the right way around. And then one of them, the Manfreds, they're on 45 years, or it could be the other way around. So you have to come to the show, I guess, and work that one out yourself. Or visit our website where all the information is on www.woodville.co.uk. So the Manfreds and Shawaddy, fantastic bands of their time. Fantastic music anyway.
And of course, you can join in the fun on Facebook and
Twitter.
And tweet your good self.
Please tweet me. Please, I get very lonely. I need a few tweets.
In my notes, it says Elvis. Now, I guess he's not going to be in the building.
He may well be in the building. We're currently digging him up, dusting him off, and we've got probably one of the best Elvis tribute shows doing the circuit. And I guess everybody says that, but this guy has been branded as the best. And the date of his show, I would have tried to do this without anyone knowing I was looking at the diary, but my eyes aren't very good. So this is the new Woodville diary, and I can tell you that A Vision of Elvis is on Sunday the 9th of June. Good show, very good show.
Not too far off.
No.
Okay, thank you very much, Neil, and happy birthday.
Thank you very much, and I hope the rest of this illustrious television career goes well for you.
Thank you. And that's that for this month from Britain's sunniest borough. We'll be back next month with a look at the lovely events for June, and meanwhile you can follow us and join the conversation in Facebook and Twitter, and of course subscribe to our channel on YouTube.